Hello and welcome to our discussion here in this video lecture presentation on FETs, or field effect transistors. These are transistors that are controlled not by a silicon or germanium p-n junction, but rather an electric field. And at the gate terminal, which is analogous to the base terminal of a bipolar junction transistor, by adjusting the voltage from the source in such a way, we could intensify or reduce the level of conduction that occurs in the field effect transistor by increasing or reducing the electric field that will help either promote or eliminate or significantly reduce the amount of current that goes to the drain, which is another terminal of what we would call a JFET. The drain is analogous to the collector of a bipolar junction transistor, but I'll show you in this video what the symbol looks like and so on. But first, before we get into that, let's look at the family of field effect transistors. All right, so we'll look at the FET family. All right, so over here, the first that we'll be looking at in a series of videos related to JFETs and MOSFETs and so on. The first field effect transistor we're going to talk about is a JFET, which stands for a junction field effect transistor. There's only one mode that you could have with a JFET, and that's the depletion mode. Now within the depletion mode, you have a P channel and an N channel JFET. Just like you would have with a bipolar junction transistor, an NPN bipolar junction transistor or a PNP. This is kind of analogous to that. Now, one of the things that you're going to hear me referring to a lot when discussing field effect transistors is I'm going to relate a lot of this stuff to the bipolar junction transistor, because there are similarities and there's also differences, and I will point those out as we move along in these videos. So on the other side here is a MOSFET, which stands for metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. So a MOSFET, unlike a JFET, has two modes. We have the D mode, also known as depletion, and we have an E mode, which is also known as enhancement. And in some upcoming charts that I plan on showing you and diagrams, you'll be able to see what depletion and enhancement actually means. Now within depletion, we have a P channel and an N channel. An enhancement is a P channel and an N channel. What determines with a MOSFET, if you're in D mode or E mode, is the way that you hook up the polarity of your voltage source. If you switch the leads, you will go from one mode to the other. It's also important to note that in depletion mode of a MOSFET operates exactly the same way as the depletion mode of a JFET. Operates exactly the same way, the calculations are the same, and so on. So last thing I want to cover in this short video is looking at a JFET first. I want to show you what it looks like in the terminals. So here's our channel right here. Notice that there are two perpendicular lines. Down here, it's called the source terminal. Up here is the drain. And then this middle terminal is the gate. Now we also show in here a little arrow. If the arrow points inwards towards the channel, remember the base of or the tip of the triangle symbol for a diode means that that's the cathode end or the negative end. So since it's pointing towards a channel, it means this is more negative. So this would be an N channel JFET. So now if I have a JFET where the arrow points outwards, notice that the base of the diode symbol is the anode end or the positive end, and that points towards the channel. So this would be a P channel JFET. And then the terminals are still the same: drain, the source, and the gate. Now I'm going to be relating a lot to our JFET, the bipolar junction transistor, because there is similarities as well as differences, and I want to denote what they are. So here's our NPN transistor. Here's our terminals. You have your base. Wherever the diode symbol is, that's your emitter. And here's your collector. So the base and the gate would be analogous to each other. The drain and the collector would be analogous to each other. And the source and the emitter will be analogous to each other. So please stay tuned for upcoming videos where we're going to get into more in-depth detail with field effect transistors. We're going to start off with the JFET family, junction field effect transistors. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found this video useful. Have a good day. Bye-bye.